the red dot on it. See that on the screen? See for it? Yeah, I see a red dot. Right. So first things first. Obviously, you haven't caravan for a while. First things first is obviously when you get onto your pitch. So you may use your vehicle to reverse onto the pitch, or you may use your motor mover, which is fitted to drive it onto the pitch. So first things first, have a look, see how level it is. If it's not too level side to side, obviously that's the first thing we need to do. If you've still got it on the car, leave it on the car if you're going to use that to get it up onto the blocks. So if you've got it slightly down one side or the other, you need to lift that side up. The only way to do that is by driving it onto either a ramp, or you may have like wooden blocks. So with being a... yeah, I even know what setting up a camera. Yeah, so a twin, obviously you need 2 lots of blocks or 2 lots of ramps. So it's just one side. Obviously spirit level is very useful to see how level it is.
Got a little one of those.
Yeah, so that's all you don't need it. You don't need a 10-foot one or whatever you need. Yeah, that's it. They're really useful to have. So obviously the importance of getting it level is one, drainage. So obviously down your sink and down your shower is obviously very, very important to get it level, otherwise the water may not go down the plug at all. Also the fridge does not like to operate on a strange angle either. So that's the reason why we need to level. On a lot of the hard surface pitches now, most of them are pretty level side to side, so the likelihood of you needing to level it is quite slim, but obviously you do need to have some kind of blocks, or you can get these plastic ramps. Okay, once you've done that, if you've used the car to get it up onto the ramps, then disconnect the car, get that out of the way. Then we need to level it front to back. Obviously before you take it off the car, make sure the handbrake's on. You don't want it rolling off. So to level it front to back, what you do is wind the jockey wheel up or down, so it just puts the nose up or down. Spirit level again, just to make sure it's in the correct position, and then once you've done that, then you can wind the legs down. So the legs, which are steadies, they are not jacking the equipment, they're just there to steady it, so when you get in it's not bouncing around as you're walking around. So you have got a winder handle, a manual winder handle in here somewhere. You still need wrapping. So what you've got is a point either side at the front and 2 at the back. So you'll see this from this hole here. As you can see from that, it'll take quite a while to wind that down.
Yeah, I've got to think.
Unless you're really fit and move that quite rapidly. I've got a drill, which is a fitting you may have. That makes it obviously a lot easier, a lot quicker. Obviously just be careful, if you've got quite a powerful drill, it could stop lifting it and putting a lot of strain on the chassis if you're not too careful. So don't use that to try and level it with, because it will cause stress to the chassis on the points where it's attached to it. Okay, so it's just a matter of just winding it down, which it takes quite a while with this. So wind it all the way to the floor. But I'll do, I can get my drill because it takes forever using it. Right. So you'll see in a second what the difference is between the hand one and the drill. So it's just there touching the ground. Do the same all the way round. What I tend to do once I've done that is do that. If it's solid, it's not moving, then obviously you've got enough pressure on it. If it's still bouncing around, just another half turn each leg. Okay? Mm-hmm. So once you've done that, then you can obviously start connecting all the surfaces, which I'm just going to bring this leg back up again. You've got the jockey wheel holding it at the moment. And just be careful if you've got a quite powerful drill as well, wind it back up again. If you wind it up so hard it can stick up, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to get it back down again. Especially on a powerful drill again, it might start turning your wrist round because you've used too much torque to get it to stick up. Okay, so things to obviously connect. So your gas bottle, I'll fit that in afterwards. If you've operated gas before, you've got a reverse thread on the connection to the gas bottle, which is that there. So it's a spanner fit. So obviously you have to make sure it's tight. You see that there? I'm actually what looks like tightening. I'm actually unscrewing it. So that fitting is actually tightening it is actually opposite where you'd normally do. This one, which stays attached to the regulator. So I've got my pigtail cap attached there. That will stay connected to the regulator. You shouldn't need to take that off at any stage really, unless you're replacing this pipe. But that connection there. So this is the end you will replace more than any other thing, as in
that
disconnected
and a smaller gas bottle than I remember having last time. Would that be
no,
right?
that's actually standard bottle.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's your standard bottle. Your 6K or 6. Yeah,
And do they stay in the van?
Yeah, they stay in there, yeah.
Yeah.
So you obviously until you empty it and you have to go and replace them. Okay, so I'll attach that to that afterwards.
Maybe I'm thinking about the one we've got for the barbecue. That's bigger than
Yeah, you may. I'm going to say the bigger one tends to be about a 13k, which are obviously quite hefty. Yeah, quite hefty. What you got to remember is obviously nose weight in the front of a van. Obviously, if you've got two of these, that's equivalent to one of them anyway.
Yeah.
But depending on what site you're on or what you're doing, how you're using your van, gas, something like that could last a whole season.
Right. Okay.
But obviously if you're using electric and things like that, obviously you don't need the gas so much. If you're on a site with no electric, then obviously the gas is powering the fridge, the boiler, heating and things like that. Okay, so the gas is connected to a regulator. So before you've operated gas, the regulator is probably attached here
Yes.
on the leisure vehicles now. If you can see down there, or see in the gas locker, the regulator is attached to the bulkhead. So it's only a pipe that attaches to your gas bottle. Regulator is already attached to the vehicle. You can use propane or butane, so the red or the blue bottle, to that one gas regulator.
Okay.
Before you would have had a different regulator for that or a different one for the blue. You can use the same regulator for both, just need a different pipe to attach to. Obviously the fittings are different. If you did decide to go blue, if you've got, say, something like that at home, you've got one, you can use it. Obviously you've got propane on this one. Okay, propane you can use all year round. So the butane, the blue one, is more of a summer gas. So you see most camping things that have a blue gas bottle. They don't tend to gas off very well below 4 degrees-ish. Once you get to freezing, then it doesn't really want to gas off. Propane all year round. They reckon down to -40. Not that I've tested it at that temperature, but -40 you should be able to still use that gas. Butane, you definitely won't be at that
Try
point.
it down to about -10 tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit shitty, but inside you'll be nice and warm. Right, so what you've also got is in there is a step, and also there's a wheel nut spanner as well in there. Okay, so just be careful what you're putting in there. Obviously, again, don't overweight it, because you're putting a lot of weight onto your back of your car. So other things we have got as part of the pack. So we've got an Akrol, Wastemaster, so I'll explain these in a second. I've got your battery to put on as well. I've got my battery attached at the moment. Then the toilet chemicals, waste pipe, which I'll show you where to connect that, and obviously your mirrors. So when you're towing, you need your mirrors fitted on so you can see down inside your van legally to be driving down the road. Okay, so A-frame, I'll go a bit more through that when we connect to the car, because obviously it's really important when you connect to the car, you're connecting it correctly. But I'll go through that once we connect to the car. So first things first, so we've set the van up as in, we've got it on the pitch, we've leveled it up, we've got the legs down, we've got the gas. The gas will probably stay attached all the time anyway. All you need to do is turn it on or off. So when you're driving, it's got to be switched off. When you're obviously there, you can turn it on, ready to use. So that's probably one of the first things you may do is open that up. Someone hopefully might be putting the kettle on inside if you're lucky, especially this time of year. So coming down this side, I've got my Akrol as water filled. So you've got your Akrol there. It's got a handle, and it's also got a filler pipe that comes with it. So the handle connects to a point either side, that point there, Akrol. It rolls up and down, makes the life a lot easier to try and carry 40 litres of water, which is pretty hefty. So this pipe that comes with your van is how you get water into your van. You can see previously you may have seen a pump on the end of that.
Yeah.
Obviously what we've got now is on the Swifts there, pumps inside, so it's on board. Just make sure you straighten that pipe out before you put it in, otherwise it could curl up and just suck the air at the top of the Akrol and not the water, and it just clicks in like that. Okay, to release it, just pull back on that trigger, that pulls out. Okay, so make sure you got a full Akrol before you start. That there is a vent for the boiler. I don't know if you can hear that roaring away at the moment, so that's fired up at the moment. So that's what that is. So I've got should have a bit of heat coming out of there.
It is. Yeah.
So hopefully it should be reasonably warm inside when we get in. So I've got my battery attached at the moment, as I said, I've got yours to fit. So it will remain in there. Normally, you may want to take it out, if you've got it in storage, you may want to take it out and charge it up at certain points if you're not going to use it for a period of time. It has got its own solar panel.
And that will keep it charged.
And it'll trickle charge it.
Yeah.
So obviously depending on if you've got a cover over it, it won't. Obviously depend on the length of day and daylight and all sorts of things, how much power it's going to put in. So your van works off a 12 volt system, so you can use this without electric connected. So what the 12 volt system does is it powers obviously the lights, the water pump, the igniters for the boiler, for the fridge and things like that. So as I said, you can use that without electric connected, but obviously there's a limited amount of time that is going to last. Even with that solar panel, especially if you switch out all the things on, it can still drain that battery down. So if you're quite clever on how you use the 12 volt, you can make it last 2-3 days perhaps. But obviously this time of year it's obviously going to be more of a struggle because daylight's shorter, more heat you're going to require, so it's going to be using more power. Obviously in the summer it will last a bit longer because daylight's longer and warmer and everything else. Okay, so with 240 connected, what that is doing with the charger on board is obviously charging your battery, and that charger also provides a 12 volt for the system. So to operate the systems, it's actually drawing the 12 volts from the charger instead of the battery. Okay, so connection of electric. So obviously you've got a cable inside there. So
Right.
obviously brand new. I've got mine here. So to connect it, always connect your caravan first. So it's just a matter of opening that up, slide it on, direct the cable into that groove there, and then shut the door. Obviously the battery will be fitted inside there. So shut that up, fully extend the cable, and connect to your bollard. Okay, if you do it the other way around, obviously you connect to the bollard
got a line
first.
end.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't want to be doing that really.
That looks like an aerial for something.
It does, yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. Yeah. Good guess.
I thought the caravan had an aerial.
It has.
Right, okay.
Yes. So the reason for that one is you can connect to an external aerial.
Okay.
So that one up there, obviously, is that's your main one. On some sites where the general area may be a poor signal, they may have their own booster aerial.
Right.
So if they've got a booster aerial, they'll have it on connected to their bollard. You can have a
Right,
cable
okay.
and connect to their bollard, so you can still get a TV signal. You can still see I'm a Celebrity or whatever you want to
No
watch.
thanks.
So that's what that connection's for.
Okay.
All right. And then just hiding just behind there, which I'll explain a bit to you after, is a key point for the mover. Okay, so that's where it switches on the power from the battery to the mover, which is there, which I'll show you all.
So
after.
normally the mover's isolated, is
Yes.
it?
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So it's not powered up all the time, only when you need it.
I'll forget that.
When you see the key, it'll make more sense than remember to turn it off. It will. The likelihood it will go as it's a power touch go into hibernation. If you don't switch it off, the unit powers down and
Right,
obviously
okay.
to stop you from draining your battery down. So motor mover as it's fitted there. I'll explain more of that after because obviously you've got everything connected on the outside at the moment. So when you're finishing off inside, I'll come outside, disconnect things, get ready to move, and then I'll show you the mover.
Okay.
Okay. Wastewater outlet. So if you remember that grey pipe that's on the front there,
Yeah.
they just push in. So into that point there. So you just lay your waste master alongside, push the pipe in.
Which was the waste master, the big long one?
Yeah, that's
Right,
it. Yeah.
okay.
So yak roll is the fresh water, as in, and the waste master is the wastewater which comes from the sinks and the shower.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So likelihood once you've finished, you've used your rack roll up. So the first time you need to go and fill it back up again, because it's unlikely you'll just use one rack roll full in a week or whatever, or even a weekend. Just check your waste master, because the likelihood if 40 litres of that has gone out, it's come back down.
It's come out through there.
It's coming out through that point there. So you need to make sure you check that, and you likely will be emptying that as well. So front end of the van now. So toilet end. This is a flush reservoir. I mean, that's just locked up there. As it says there, do not overfill. If you overfill it and start travelling with it, the likelihood it could overflow into the van.
Right.
So don't fill it all the way up if you're going to travel. You can travel with some in there, but obviously not topped all the way up because it will just.
How does
overflow.
it-
Is there an indicator?
No, no, I'm afraid not. The only indication is you can see it through there
Right.
when you put it in. If you do, all I tend to do is I've got either a litre or a 2 litre water bottle, so I know I'll put that much in.
Right.
If you're quite clever, especially on the drain down side of it, so before you're going home, so say the night before and you've run out, I need to go and put some more in. Don't obviously fill it all the way up again. Just put half a litre or so in,
Right.
just to last
so
overnight.
what's its capacity? 2 litres?
No, it's around about 5 litres.
Right, okay.
Around about that.
Okay.
Okay.
What
So-
about draining it for storage?
Yeah, I'll show you that in a sec.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
Get there in a minute.
All right.
So what you do put in there is a pink chemical
Pink.
water. Yeah. So a small amount of pink chemical and an amount of water, and then as I say, you can see that from there. If you filled it all the way up, and you'll be able to tell when you're flushing it if there's nothing coming out, it's empty. Okay. So waste tank. So just above the waste tank is the drain down for it. So the drain down for this. So just on that little edge there,
Right.
that is a drain down for that. The best way of draining down is by flushing it.
Right.
So if you're quite careful how much you put in, so when you last use it, then you've only got a small amount left in it. You can just flush it into the waste tank and just drain the last little bit via that.
How do you drain it from that? Do you
Just
take the end off?
pull that plug out. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay. And the benefit, obviously, of flushing it is the pump is spinning as well. So that's getting the water out of that
Yeah.
pump. Because if you didn't, water's kept in there and it freezes. Obviously, you're in trouble.
Won't hurt the pump running it dry.
No, only for a few seconds.
Yeah.
You're not running it for half an hour or whatever.
No.
Yeah, just enough so that when there's no water coming out into the pan as such, you know you've got that water out of the pump. So see that there? That is your waste tank. That releases it.
Yeah.
If it's not coming out freely, push it back in, the likelihood is you've left the wastegate open or you haven't fully closed it. So on the toilet there's a wastegate that you open when you're using it. So before you, when you finish it, you should always close it anyway. But if you're trying to get this out and it's sticky, just make sure it is. Don't force it out, otherwise you could damage something. So it should come out as easy as that. You've got a handle and wheels obviously to close it off, make it a lot
That's
easier.
better than the last one, I remember.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be carting it around. You obviously still got to lift it up at some point to empty it.
Yeah.
So before we use it, we put a blue chemical in here or a green chemical, depending on what site you're on. So depending on the concentration depending on how much you're going to put in there. So read the bottle. It could be half or it could be full of that of blue, and around about a pint to a litre of water. And then that also is where you empty it out of. So be careful where you're putting that. It's obviously emptied into a chemical toilet emptying point, not just down the drain. Be careful where you put that, because normally they're a big white funnel with a big hole in the centre of it with a brick wall around it. Don't put it on the brick wall.
No.
You go and knock it down that hole.
You lose it.
Yeah, you're not going to stick your fingers down there to try and locate that.
Not really, no.
Right, so just be careful. Put it on the floor behind you, it's a lot safer. Some posh sites have a little place just to put it,
Right.
just to stop you from doing that. So to empty it, obviously it's coming out of that hole there. Air
That's
button,
it,
yeah,
right, okay.
allows the air to help it out just that little bit. Then obviously you can access there for cleaning if you want to. And then what we've also got, if you can see there's a white float, you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. See that, the white float? So that is quite vulnerable. If when you're cleaning it, you
Jet rocket.
or do anything, yeah, something like that. Or if you put water in and slosh it around, just be careful, because if it dislodges that ends up going down the hole. Obviously you lose that as well. Yeah. That is a float to indicate, which is on top of the toilet.
Right.
It's an indicator light to say
How
when
full
this
it
is
is.
full.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it just says full, and that's it. So to you, obviously once you finish putting the blue chemical water in, you can put it in there. Okay.
Okay.
You know, these have all got locks on them.
Yes.
So how do we have keys for that or something, or?
No, screwdrivers usually the best thing.
Not a lollipop stick.
Oh, you could try a lollipop stick. No, it does come with keys.
Right, okay. Sorry. I have to know these things.
Yes.
Because
No,
I'm
it
the
do-
one
it
that
do-
looks after things like that.
Yeah, no, yes, you do have
I'm
keys.
not allowed keys.
You're not allowed keys. Yeah, obviously that is a really important thing, is not losing keys, obviously.
Yeah.
Right, so have you bought a number plate with you, or have you got the...
He said he's going to get one made up for
Right,
us.
have you got the V5 for your vehicle?
Didn't tell us to fetch it.
Right, so you need the V5, because obviously the law is now that we can't provide number plates without that documentation. So obviously he should have let you be aware of that. But luckily you're not going to be going back on the road. Yeah, that's one lucky situation is that...
I did ask. I said to him yesterday, "Do you want to know what the number plate is?"
You did? Yeah.
I was on the phone. He said, "No, we'll do that when you come."
Right. Yeah, so yeah, V5 and usually identification like driving licence usually.
That's okay.
Okay.
£25,000 in your bank account, Ken.
My bank account. I wish. I wish it was in my bank account, but no. Somebody else's bank account has in the company's. So on the back we've got the position for the legs at the back. Get at least one leg down before you jump in.
Hang on, where's that?
See, it's like a bolt head. You can see
I
that?
can see it.
Yeah. Obviously cleverly.
I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Yeah. So the top of the leg there.
Brought me Neela easy.
That bolt head there. That's where you position the winder handle.
Oh, right, okay.
And that winds the legs up or down. Okay. On the back we have also got these two silver stripes. Obviously not there just for decoration. That's bike rack fixings yet. So if you want to put a bike rack on the back, be very careful. Obviously putting weight on the back of the van. Obviously not too clever if you don't balance it out at the front. So obviously that starts a bit of snaking if you're not careful. So always balance it. Right. Either one. Right. So
Oh, blimey.
access under the bed. That's where your spare wheel is. That's bolted to the floor.
Oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, so that's where your location of that is. Another thing very important considering wheels is wheel torque setting. So I've got my torque spanner somewhere there to check them before you leave. Just state it on the plate here, 130 newton meters. If you've got a torque spanner, please do check your wheel that's regularly. Okay, it is very important. That's why I've got my torque spanner there to check before you leave.
Where does it say 100?
It's right in the small.
Oh, the small
small
bit,
right.
yeah.
You think an important measurement like that would be
Nice and big, wouldn't it?
yeah, and just above that is your tyre pressure as well. So obviously
Very nice.
that's the other one that's very important.
That's a bit weird. You put the torque in
I know,
metric
yeah.
and the pressure in imperial.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is weird. That to be quite honest, I've always noticed that. I said, well, why is it you don't do two different systems? Do you? It's either one or the other. That's just a magnet to hold the door open. Right. So 240 outlet to open that. So don't just pull it. Just put a bit of pressure where that says 230, and just releases
Right,
it.
okay.
240 obviously outlet.
And that's
Put-
sealed, isn't it?
Yeah, sealed. Gas barbecue outlet. So you can obviously operate off the gas bottle you've got there to a gas bottle, to a gas barbecue even. Yeah, so you just go, it's just a pushing,
That's
fitting.
just-
So yeah, that's
it's a
just
push
pulls-
on, is it?
Yeah,
Right,
that
okay.
plastic bit just pulls away. And then it just fits into that, and it clicks in. To release it, you just push back on that and it
Ah, yeah.
pulls out like a string around. And obviously you get your gas tap there. You just tap to close it. Another locker, so there's your cable. And there's your alarm box. So your alarm box is powered by your leisure battery.
Right.
And it's got its own internal battery. So the internal battery will stand by for 2 to 3 months.
Oh,
Obviously,
right.
if your main battery is either off or obviously gone flat. The battery on that, so its own unit battery, will recharge as soon as you plug electric in anyway.
Okay.
Right, that's everything on the outside. Hopefully you haven't really with too much information yet.
Awning.
Awning, yeah.
Goes in
So
there.
yeah, it feeds in that one. You've got, if
Another
say if you're
one.
going for say a porch awning,
Yeah, that's what it is.
yeah, go for that one there instead of trying to start down here. But if you had a full awning, you'd have to go for the lower one.
Yeah.
So obviously making it fit.
Got the awning light there.
Yeah, it's actually all right. And these are fridge vents.
And they're okay to go into the awning.
Yes, yeah, fine, yeah. Because normally your awning's not a sealed unit; it's like a tent, isn't it? So it's,
Yeah.
but it's usually quite breathable through here, even though you may
Yeah.
have a skirt, but it's still quite breathable there. So it's not sealed. Okay. Right. So lines. So as we were talking about locks before, one key does all. So you got one on a spare. So you got the posh one that folds
Oh,
away.
right, does everything.
Yeah, so one key does every lock. Door, side and the front. Okay, alarm fob. So you got a torch at the top. Alarm is set by that one. You see the side
Yeah,
markers
yeah,
will
yeah.
light up.
Like an
So
electric,
one beep, that's on. Press it once again, 2 beeps is off. Okay,
Okay.
it sets the PIR sensor which is inside, obviously movement sensor, and it's also got a tilt sensor, so if someone's winding it up to try to get it onto their car, then it should trigger it if you've set
Okay.
it, obviously. And also, if you subscribe to the tracker by arming the alarm, it also activates the tracker as well, so it's alarms it, I should say.
I don't understand what the tracker does. I understand what the tracker does, but I
Yeah.
don't understand precisely what it does. If the caravan moves,
Yes. If you've got it armed,
yes,
then
will that-
it will trigger.
the alarm,
yeah.
and will that trigger the tracker, and the tracker
Yeah.
will do what?
Yeah, well, what it does, it obviously sends a signal to the collector station, which then obviously informs you that your van is on the move. I'm not sure if it goes via police or not.
Okay.
But it will
The only reason I say that-
definitely alert you to that vehicle is moving.
Is when we store it, they may want to move it.
Yes.
So I must
Yeah.
tell them. I must
Yes.
leave what, 2
Yeah,
alarm
so if-
keys there, are they?
Yes. Yeah, you got to one spare again. Yeah.
So I'd leave an alarm fob with them.
Yeah,
and tell
because
them
otherwise
and
it
say-
could start triggering it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you don't want that, especially false alarms going off. If you get, you're not aware that they're actually moving it.
Yeah, yeah.
You think, oh, hang on, it might be that you might be stolen, or it might just be them moving it.
That's why I was wondering what happens
Right.
when the tracker goes.
Yeah, you'll be alerted. Yeah. Right, you like to jump on board, and we'll go for all the.
I'm taking my shoes off, you don't have to.
I've got my slippers on. Okay.
Have you?
Yeah, well, I've got plastic covers for me. Shoes. I'll just take the jacket off. I've got probably a bit more.
Take your shoes off.
Metal layers I've got on.
Oh, it's roasting in here.
Yeah.
Damn me.
I did have the. Oh, I just thought now. I wonder if I left it on the. Set it. Oh no, it should be about 23. Yeah, so I was going to say, you won't be cold tonight.
You're dead right.
Oh, blimey.
Is this on gas now or electric?
It's on both of them.
It's on both.
It's on both of them, yeah.
Oh, right.
I'll explain that a bit in a second.
Jesus.
Yes, it's lovely and warm. That's the problem, you get all warm. Yeah, so 23 degrees I'll set it at. It will go up to 30 degrees if you want.
No, no.
I'll show you how to do that in a second. Right, so I'll just leave the door open a bit just to cool us down a little bit, because it can get quite warm when you're, if you had the... Funny is you dress up for the warm. Yeah, you dress up for the warm, but it catches out when you go into the warm. Same with me going into the showrooms. You pass out with the heat. Right, got some brightness over there. Right, control panel. This switches the 12-volt systems on. It also controls different things in the van as well. That is your heating control panel. Okay, so we'll go through this one first. On-off button is that one there.
Yeah.
If you can see, there's actually most things switched on. See this? Looks like. Right, so lights, you can see obviously things are powered up. So this means that control panel is actually just asleep at the moment. So I just press the on-off button, lights the screen up. So that is the button you switch the system on with. So you just press and hold into it. When you hear 2 beeps, so beep beep, that's usually either switching the system on or switching the system off.
Right.
Okay, so you obviously need to switch the system on when you get in. So you've got water pump. So don't switch it on straight away, I'll explain that in a second. Awning light. So you see that surround is on.
Yeah.
That means it's on. So the light that's out here somewhere
Right, okay.
is switched on and off from there. The lighting button, so that's the dimmable lights now. So the one above the bed and the one above the front lockers, you can dim them. So you can plus or minus, if you can see that dimming now. So you can do that. You can switch them off by tapping the centre as well. But you can, obviously they're individually switched, but you can switch them on and off from here if you wanted to. Okay, home button takes you back to the main screen. Power button, so if you're on site with no electric, obviously it's more important you keep an eye on your 12 volts. If you're not, you obviously don't need to worry, you don't have to be too concerned if you've got electric connected. But if you are without electric, so that little flash is to say we've got electric connected, that is your leisure battery, so it gives you a rough idea where the battery's at. So it's very similar to a phone or something like that, like a battery icon. But if you want to actually know the actual voltage, go into the power button, that shows you leisure battery set level there, which is 14.2 volts gas, because we got the charger connected at the moment.
Right.
And that's why it's pushing more power into the battery to charge it. Solar, so if it's can't talk this morning, in operation, it will give you a reading there. Then vehicle, if a vehicle was attached on the pitch, you could actually draw 12 volts from that if you wanted to, but unlikely you want to do that. You go and flat the battery on that, you're in trouble. Okay, so home button takes us back to that. So heating, so this system will actually talk to other things as well, so it will actually talk to the heating if you wanted it to. So at the moment, all it is just showing is what's actually operating on here. So it should say, there we go, heater control panel busy. It's just having a chat with that just to make sure it's showing the same as what the heating is. You can control the heating via the timer if you really wanted to. So you can set timers to come on and off when you want it to. And you can also control it via an app as well, via a Swift Command app. Okay, if you're switching it on by the timer, then obviously the timer will control it. You won't control it really from the heating system itself. You'll be letting the timer on here control it. But if you've got it to manual, as I have at the moment, you can control it from its own control panel, which is probably worth doing until you get used to it. Timer-wise, it's up to you how you use it, but the Aldi system is not a rapid warm-up system. So say, for instance, you set a timer to go off at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're going out for the day, it come back on at 4 to be warm enough, say, hopefully for 5. The van is obviously cooling down at that stage. If you just leave the heating system on and running, the thermostat switches the temperature on and off anyway. So it's up to you. It takes a little while to warm up, depending on what energy you're using. It's radiated heat, so the heat comes up from behind here. You obviously got the main radiator there, and you'll have a radiator in the bathroom. So it's not blown air, which you may have had a caravan. If you had a caravan before, it might have been a blown air.
Just had a gas heater there.
Yeah, so it'd be blown air rather than radiated heat. Okay.
So how do you switch between power sources there?
I'll show you on this
okay,
one here.
yeah.
This does replicate exactly what it's showing on there, but I'll show you.
Okay.
You just tap through that. Right, settings. So in there we can set the time, the day, the year. Screen brightness, we can tap that. So how bright you want the screen. Screen timeout, so how soon that will go to sleep after you've used it. And we can also pair it up Bluetooth to operate an app via Bluetooth while you're in it, or via the internet as well if you wanted to. Home button, back to there, and then radio. So we haven't got a physical radio anymore in these things. It's only this year that they've actually gone to that. So we've actually got a unit module now. So it's actually, we've got FM, DAB, and you can also plug in via that port there if you want to via a phone and play that over the system as well. The two USBs that are on the front there, all they are for is charging. So they're not connected.
So they don't connect to that.
They don't connect to that. It's via that if you wanted to. Okay, so to switch the radio on or off, tap on that button there. Mode button, so the mode button is off at the moment, so that's radio off. So you select whichever mode you want. So FM, scan your normal radio settings. Same with DAB, if you've had DAB before. You've got the group settings, so at the moment there's no station there. Scanning. So you probably have to do this each time you move to a different site. So if I tap the centre now, you can see all the ones under national. If I press another one, it searches for another group. Don't ask me why, is it ensemble? It sounds a bit posh, that does really. So then you've got the local ones. Press look for another group. What we got that one? National. So whichever one you want as well, you can just tap on any of these. I'll go back to the main screen now. You can scroll through station that way, or through the different groups that way. It's probably just as easy to tap the centre of that, So you go to whichever one you want. It'll scan for that group again.